His professional record, an outstanding one. 30 victories, including 20 knockouts, only 1 defeat with 2 draws. From Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico, the challenger, former WBC Latino and WBC Silver Super Featherweight Champion, El Mini Burgos, Juan Carlos Burgos. 33 victories, including 28 knockouts. From the Oxnard Boxing Academy, Moreno Valley, California, USA, the 2-time champion, former featherweight, world champion and reigning, defending, undefeated WBO Super Featherweight champion of the world, Miguel Angel Mikey Garcia.
His approach to the art of the knockout, and he has an 85% knockout percentage. Garcia is as precise and as clinical as any fighter you'll see. He has developed a pattern of watching and waiting for the first 3, 4, 5 rounds, sometimes giving away rounds, while he looks and examines and tries to figure out exactly where is the weakness which he is going to exploit. And eventually, he steps forward, takes command, begins to throw the kind of vicious counter punches which have defined him up to this point, and usually it's only 2 or 3 rounds from that point to the moment when the referee brings an end to the fight. Let's see what he does with Burgos tonight. Garcia was down on a right hand from Martinez in the second round of his last fight in 2013. And that's one thing Burgos felt he could build on. We saw him go down against Martinez. He got hit with the right hand. Maybe I can hit him with the right hand too. Well, that's a feel thing. And of course, you know, Max talked about family background, growing up in the sport. For a long time, he wasn't interested. Didn't step forward and say, oh, I want to be a boxer too. He was well late into his teens before he finally decided to take this up. But no doubt he had been watching the whole time.
Yeah. Mikey didn't choose his profession chose him. He was too good at it not to do it. He looks at Burgos and sees a guy who can do a lot of the things he can do, but he feels that his skills are pitched higher, and so far in his career he's been right.
One potential future opponent is seated here at ringside tonight.
He's in his prime. I'd say overall the toughest package that Garcia's had to face so far in his career, and you're seeing why right now.
He's got real skills, as does Garcia, and one element of that is that both fighters are blocking a lot of punches with their gloves. In fact, the majority of punches are being blocked by the defender's glove so far.
Garcia is very patient because he has a belief which has been reinforced by his entire professional career.
Right hook by Garcia, and a good counter shot in return by Burgos, and Garcia almost tipped to the canvas.
I was going to say that he wins the exchanges when you match skills, but he didn't just then.
Right. CompuBox averages per round through 6. Garcia 8 out of 35. Burgos 6 out of 42. Burgos was throwing 75 punches per round against Rocky Martinez here a year ago. He's considerably more conservative tonight. Steve Weisfeld, how do you have it halfway through?
Jim, I have it 59-55 for Garcia. There seems to come a time in Garcia's fights when his opponents have a feeling of helplessness. We're not there yet, but certainly, as Andre said, Burgos seems to have a feeling of doubt. Burgos also seems to be moving his head too much when he's totally out of range, as opposed to when he's closer. So after 6 rounds, I have Garcia up by 4 points.
Yeah, to Andre's point earlier in the broadcast, Burgos was on the raw end of a really bad decision, a draw against Rocky Martinez in a fight he clearly won here in this ring. Is that the master, the champion, accumulates small advantages constantly, and it adds up over time. Andre, I can think no better example than you in boxing right now, accumulating those advantages constantly until there's a wide gap between you and your opponent, and that's what Mikey's done tonight.
Right, and at this level, good left hook from Mikey. At this level, it's the small things that get you ahead. That's the difference, as you mentioned, between a contender and a champion. People think it's a lot of big things. No, it's a lot of small things that get you to the top and keep you at the top. And right now, Mikey's showing what it takes to be a champion.
Because while Burgos may be silently negotiating with himself the question of whether to take a risk or walk his way to a 12-round loss, Garcia is stepping forward and looking for opportunities to provide the answer for him.
Another way to say it is class tells over time. Why 4-round fights are dangerous early in a fighter's career. It doesn't often give time for them to create separation, which Garcia has done increasingly in this fight, separated himself.
Time! 1 minute!
But it's still a good learning experience. It'll still take your game to the next level. Seems to be Burgos' bailout shot is that left hook, that lead left hook. Garcia still putting pressure on Burgos, but he's keeping his distance. Just enough distance not to get hit, and just enough distance to explode with his own offense when he sees an opening. Good shot from Burgos.
Power chess match taking place in the small room at Madison Square Garden. Mikey Garcia stalking, but never overreaching or over-risking as he tries for a 12th consecutive knockout against a fighter who appears to have made a bargain with himself to try to go the distance.
Último round, amigo. Último round, venga.
Round 12. And you heard Burgos' corner asking him, what's wrong? You've got to attack the body, you've got to put him down.
What's wrong is exactly what Garcia thought was wrong for Burgos heading in, which is everything Burgos does, Mikey does better.
Yeah, Mikey Garcia, that's what's wrong.
Garcia even said going into this fight he may have to beat him over the distance. Burgos may be tough to knock out. He anticipated something like this.
Winning the fight over 12 rounds, which I think is going to help him.
A great point, Andre Ward, as more in the crowd begin to boo. Even at the moment when he was the absolute knockout king of boxing, Mike Tyson was going the distance with Tony Tucker, going the distance with James Bone Crusher Smith, going to the last 10 seconds with Jose Ribalta, going the distance with Mitch Blood Green. You don't get a knockout every time.
Particularly if the opponent isn't willing to engage.
I think this fight is good for Garcia.
Because?
It keeps him sober. Sometimes you can get caught up in your own press and you think subliminally that I can knock everybody out, and right now he's being shown that everybody's not going to go, so I think it keeps him honest.
You think Gamboa sees something in this fight that he can use if they meet down the road or even in their next fight?
That's possible. All fighters think like that, but at the same time, Gamboa is different than Burgos, so it's hard to say until these guys actually meet.
A lot faster than Burgos. A lot shorter.
Gamboa won't fight him like Burgos did. Mikey might not fight Gamboa the same way either.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here at Madison Square Garden, we go to the scorecards. Julie Letterman scores at 118 to 110. Same score from Michael Pernick, and 119 to 109 is the score from John Potteray. All three judges scored it for the winner by unanimous decision. Still WBO Super Featherweight Champion of the World, Miguel Angel Mikey Garcia.